I mean, having done some things like that myself, having been used in time, you know, I think at night, whenever I go to sleep, I tend to engage the Father with my spirit to say, I'm open for whatever you need me to do tonight, and I think a lot of those type adventures, going into time, going into the timeline, not changing history, but being used to do that at that moment, because that's what the Father was saying to you. I knew you would be available now to actually engage then, effectively. You're only now aware of it, but you, in the timeline, it's always happened. I think that's sort of the eternal now perspective of time. In it's not limited to us, but it is great, because I think that rescue mission, how many people cry out on God and there's no one there to help them? And of course, God could send an angel, and he has in many, many occasions sent angels to help people in the past. And you have testimonies of that taking place, of missionaries and angels surrounding them and keeping them safe and things like that. But actually now the sons of God are able to access the eternal realms and the heavenly realms, then we're now a source of God sending us to help. And that's both in time and in space. I can remember being sent in the spirit, translated in the spirit to other places in the world, China, Russia, other places, where someone was asking for help, and I physically manifested and helped them, and then physically unmanifested and came back in the spirit. And that's sort of an in space, in this time thing, but also in all sorts of time perspectives. I can remember and doing conferences where we just did an activation of, okay, let's just be open for God to take us somewhere, wherever it might be, to do whatever he wants us to do. Let's make ourselves available right now. And you get amazing testimonies of rescuing people. A lot of them are bearing children as well, because children seem to be able to reach God with cries of help, to which he seems to respond by sending people. I think the funniest one I ever heard was a friend of mine who was engaging things, and he shared the testimony that when the first time he was ever called to preach somewhere, when he was a young man, I think in his early 20s or something, and he was preaching in this place for the first time, and he was so nervous and felt so out of his depth that he cried out to God for help. He was really struggling. He cried out to God for help. And the week before he was talking to me at the time, he actually went back and helped himself. So his present self went back to his past self and strengthened himself in the Lord, because it's a very biblical thing to strengthen yourself in the Lord. Well, he went back and strengthened himself. And so his present presence went back and comforted, strengthened, and encouraged his 21-year-old presence and helped him. And he remembers feeling encouraged and helped and strengthened. But he went back and strengthened himself, which is really, really quite interesting, because heaven's open, and the spiritual realms are open, timeline's open. And because we can engage in that eternal aspect of God's nature, and we're stepping into that, we're then anywhere and everywhere in him, because he's everywhere and everywhere, including everywhere in time, because it's all now to him in that realm.